Well, namaste. This is Aisha from Revolution of Light, and today I would like to talk about a topic which a lot of us have probably experienced from day to day in the spiritual community, and that is what a light worker really is. So, what is a light worker? This term is something so common nowadays, and there's a lot of people going around claiming to be light workers, all kinds of them, and I personally do not categorize myself as a light worker because I don't really know or wish to put myself into a box. And when you talk about being a light worker, I don't believe there is a clear definition of what it is, because a whole lot of people are going around spreading a lot of different concepts about what a light worker really should be. And one of the things that I noticed in the spiritual community at large, and you may ask me, what do you know to talk about the spiritual community? Well, I've been around for 20 years doing this online, and what I have observed over the years is that, well, there's been a lot of judging going around in the community, and a lot of enforcing, a lot of setting rules up, and telling people what to do and what not to do, which pretty much mimics a system that we're used to, which we can call as a typical religion. Any faith has a system, and that system controls people, likes to control people. So if you start to notice how the spiritual community online is evolving, it's evolving in the direction similar to that of the other systems or faiths that we have in this world. And that is not what spirituality is about. Spirituality is basically about allowing each individual, each awakening soul, to experience the journey that lies ahead based on what they experience in a spiritual way. Every one of us has a different journey, and that has to be respected. Well, unfortunately, the spiritual community has been judgmental. Most of them have been. They like to set these rules. They like to set these expectations. They like to set these restrictions or limitations. And this kind of sets those who are newly awakening into a spiral, whichever way they choose to go. But then of course you would say, well, isn't it based on their own evolution? They should go through that learning curve of identifying what they should take and what they should not take from these exposures. Yes, of course. But it is also the responsibility of those who have awakened, who are much more evolved, or a little more evolved, enough to support others who are newly awakening. It is our responsibility as a collective. The first thing that I noticed that a lot of people, in the Lightworkers community, they like to avoid, certain things on social media. Like the most common things probably is where somebody posts a video or something exposing cruelty on an animal or a child or anyone, and everybody just starts bombarding them and saying, oh, you shouldn't be putting up such negative things in here. Now, that just really confuses a lot of people. I know it does, because it sure puts me in a spot where I'm wondering, so you're going to turn a blind eye to everything that is happening that inflicts pain, that inflicts some kind of, situation which needs change. And why? Because you want to stay in the light. You believe you're a light worker, so you want to stay away from all of that pain, anything that causes any kind of stirring inside of your soul. So how in the world are you going to help people, help situations, if you do not expose yourself to this environment? There are some groups on Facebook, there are some groups in other platforms, which pretty much keep saying things like, oh, people should learn how to read themselves. They don't need a psychic or a medium to come and tell them answers. Everybody should learn how to read for themselves. Was that how you started off, to be very honest? Was that how? No, none of us can actually point fingers at others, because we all have had to start somewhere. If not in this incarnation, you would have had to start somewhere in your last incarnation. But you certainly had to start somewhere. So let's not be so judgmental. Let's not tell people, you should be able to do this, you should be able to do that. What if they really are not ready for it? So why do people need psychics? Why do people need mediums? To inspire them. Let's not again go into this whole guru and disciple structure. That again is a different topic altogether, where you refuse to empower people because you believe that people have to constantly come to you. And that is also something that I am not so fond of, because I believe in empowering people. I don't want people to keep coming back to me thinking that I have all the answers and I'll be the only go-to person ever. Because we are all go-to people at a certain point in our lifetimes. Even I am. Even I would need. You know why I would need? Because we have something called emotions. We have something called, survival mode. When we go into survival mode, our emotions get in the way. When you are directly involved, no matter who you are, it takes a whole lot of programming. And I know that programming can be disrupted if you're directly involved with some situation where your emotions are involved, where you can't think clearly, where you can't always think clearly. You can't always read for yourself. You can't always have answers for yourself. Maybe you're the kind of person who would wait patiently, who would not still go in and ask a question from someone else. Maybe you're that. That's your journey. I would respect that. But do not judge those who go out there seeking for answers. And do not judge those who give these answers. There are, again, some groups and communities that believe, we are not going to let people come in here and offer answers, readings to other people. Why? So what are you really supposed to be doing here anyway with your gifts? We are here to empower people, but to empower them, you need to show them what you know. You need to exchange that. We're here to share. Then again, you're saying, these are spiritual gifts, so you should not be charging. But where do you have that natural balance in the universe if there is no healthy energy exchange? There has to be energy exchange. And that is why people need to pay their bills. If we didn't have to pay our bills, we wouldn't be asking for anything, but all of us do. We don't have a money tree growing in the backyard. None of us do. And so the concept that I'm trying to tell everybody here is, when someone asks you what a light worker is someone who would serve others. Serve others. There has to be a balance. Do service. And also you need to take care of yourself. So out of self-respect and self-love, take care of yourself as well. And serve. Use your gifts. Do not be judgmental. Do not turn your face the other way the moment you see someone in pain or some creature in pain. It's to expose you. If it's there, it's meant to be there for a reason. You're supposed to perhaps step out there and do something about the situation instead of turning the other way and saying, I'm a light worker. I want to keep my vibration going. You will not be able to keep your vibration going and expect that to change your entire dimension from 3D to 5D. The other people around you are still struggling to come to terms with all these situations that they're being exposed to around the world. You need to put yourself into the situation in order to take away from it, to do something about it, to change. To make that change, you need to understand something. If we were just supposed to land up here and have no experiences whatsoever but to help people, let me tell you one thing, you will not be able to help them as effectively as you do now when you have experienced a whole lot of things in your life yourself. You need to be educated in order to educate others. You need to know what you're dealing with in order to help others with the same situation. So if the other thing is with empaths, some of us think, I'm an empath. I feel everything. This is horrible. I want to stop that. How do I block that? Well, there is a reason why you're able to feel everything. There is. And it's not the end of the world if you can feel everything. You can meditate. You can do a lot of things to deal with it. That is why you're even having that ability today to be able to feel and do something for others and for yourself. So do not be afraid of exposure. Do not be afraid to get out there and help. You're not going to lose your energy. You're not going to be drained by so-called energy vampires unless you believe you can. You don't put yourself in a situation where you know you're being drained and you intuitively know you shouldn't be there. But at the same time, do not deny yourself of exposure, because exposure is what gives you the experience in order to apply it to situations where other people need help from you. And that is what a light worker really is. A light worker is someone who serves through wisdom, serves through love, serves through an understanding and acceptance without judgment. These are the things that we need to remember when we get out there. It's not all about saving the world. You're awakened today and you just want to go out there and save the world. That's not how it works. It's not possible to save the world, but you can save one person at a time. You can educate yourself through exposure. Do not turn your face the other way around when somebody posts a video. You have to test to see how strong you really are in order to know whether this can actually be something you can apply to help someone else in a situation. It is fine to not sit in front of the TV and watch news the whole day, because that automatically changes your own vibration, enabling you, which disallows you from being productive. I do not mean by exposure where it's constant. I'm saying exposure. I'm talking about exposure which comes from these little spurts of experiences we go through throughout life. If we were to just come here and help and not have any experience from life itself, we wouldn't have incarnated in the first place. And we are in the midst. All of us are strategically placed around the world. Some of us, we say, oh, I think I'm the only one who's spiritual around here. I feel so lonely. There's no one here really. All my friends are online. But you know why you're there? You're there because you're there to make a difference. You're there to realize that you're not there to be cornered by all those who are not spiritual, but you are there to make a difference in everybody's lives around you. And your support system lies on screen? Well, let your online friends be the only people who understand you. So what? The numbers will grow over time. Don't cut yourself off from stimulation. We're here to experience, and only through experience can you evolve. If you're going to be afraid, if you're going to be feeling cornered, if you're going to let other people control your emotions, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you act, you will never be able to move forward. Because you're here to evolve, and this is your journey. Make every day count. Make every day count the way you want it to count. Go by your soul and not by your mind. I love you. Namaste.